Hey guys, Karlee here. Just a quick note to say thank you to my friends at Skillshare who have sponsored this video for you guys today. They're also giving away 2 months free online, so you can jump on there and check out any of their courses. They literally have thousands of them. One that I've been loving lately is learning the fundamentals of DSLR photography with Justin Bridges. I found that super helpful since buying my new camera. So I want you guys to head down to the comment section there. Let me know what you think if you do sign up and use those 2 free months. I guarantee you will not regret it.
Hi guys, Karlee here from Karlee's Cupcakes. I am finally back with a new YouTube video for you guys. I've got a nice comfy stair hang going on here. I've got my coffee ready to go. I've got my questions loaded on my phone that you guys submitted through my Instagram page. Thank you so much for all of the submissions. I won't be able to get to everyone, but I'm going to answer the most popular questions, and hopefully one of those is yours, so hang tight. Okay, so my first question I have here is asking me about my cake style. It says, your cake style, how did it happen? Naturally, or did you decide on a style? To be completely honest, I kind of came up with it using a combination, I think, of probably 4 or 5 different bakers that I really admired and just loved to stare at their cakes. And I wanted people to have the same sort of experience with my cakes as well. So I think for me it was just a natural progression with developing my own style and finding out what I actually really enjoyed in terms of the decorating process and what kind of little finishing touches I loved putting on my cakes. I started out doing it with all the crazy, you know, chocolates and lollies and donuts and macarons and flowers, and I'm still doing that today, which I kind of love. So to be completely honest, I didn't put a whole lot of thought into what sort of style I wanted to do per se. I knew buttercream was always going to be my jam because I just don't like fondant. There are some amazing cake decorators out there that use fondant and are incredible with it, but anything I do will end up on one of those cake fail memes, so I just steer completely clear of it. So to answer the question in a bit of a nutshell, with it happening naturally, I think for me that's the most important part about it, because if you're going to try and force something as a creative, it's just not going to show through truly as you, and that's what I like about what my style is and how I've developed that. I know that people can notice it even if someone doesn't tag me in a post when they're resharing my work, which happens all the time. People can notice that it's my work, so I think that it just has to happen naturally. It's not something that you can force. Okay, next question. Did you find it hard to adjust to a new oven when you moved to the US? Luckily for me, the condo that my husband and I live in with our housemate has a really awesome KitchenAid 900mm oven. It's like a convection oven, so I always use convection mode when I am baking, and I find that I can stack on the individual tiers in the oven on the shelves, and I get an even bake with everything that I do. I usually, when I'm doing macarons, and sometimes cupcakes too, I will scatter the trays, so I've got one on one side on the top shelf and then one on the bottom side on the bottom shelf. So I worked out where the hot spot was in the oven pretty quickly, and that's actually really important. If you don't know where your hot spot is in your oven, I encourage you to do a test. You can, say, do up a batch of cupcakes and just fill, say, 3 liners and just move it around different parts of your oven and just see what sort of results you get. Because sometimes, I know even for my smaller oven that I had in Australia, there were still hot spots in there. So I know that some cakes or cupcakes would cook a lot quicker than others. So that's really important to know your oven. I would encourage you as well to get a thermometer that you can put in your oven to make sure that the temperature that you are setting your oven at is what it actually is inside as well, because sometimes if they are older ovens, or even sometimes with newer ovens, if they're off by a degree or 2, and especially with something as finicky as macarons, we need to make sure that the temperature and the cooking time is right. So that would be my best couple of tips for you. If you've got a new oven, if you're moving into a new place and you're a little nervous, test for the hot spots, get a thermometer, and you will be fine. Alright, next cab off the rank. I don't know if that's just a lame Australian thing that we say. It means I'm going to answer the next question. How old were you when you started your baking like professional work? So for me, my baking journey started, I think, probably around 2011. I started kind of messing with a few different things and just ordering random cake tools off of eBay and watching a ton of YouTube videos. The beautiful Elise from My Cupcake Addiction taught me a lot about what I know, and my buttercream recipe is actually an adaptation of hers. So if you haven't seen her page, she's got some awesome stuff on there as well. But 2011, so I'm like, how old am I? I am 30 now, so I was quite young when I started. From there, I think it was the end of 2014, so from like 2011 to 2014, I really built up my skill set and started doing more and more, you know, cakes, cupcakes, just varying it a little bit so I could get my skill set up, and kind of get to a point where I could explore if I wanted to take the whole thing full time. So I had a really awesome job. I really liked my job. I actually missed the work sometimes. I basically did like forensic accounting and sort of fraud analysis for a bank back in Australia. So it was pretty full-on work. So it was really nice to come home and have a creative outlet in cakes, which sometimes was quite frustrating, but I stuck with it, and that's where I ended up. So at the end of 2014, I was able to quit my full-time job just before Christmas, and with my wholesale accounts that I had in Australia, a lot of people don't know that I had, I think at the peak of it, I had about 10 different cafes and restaurants around Brisbane that I actually supplied cupcakes and slices and different things to a couple of times a week, and then I would fill up my weekends with orders and then fit private lessons and actual group classes around that as well. So I think that's super important to have the mix of those, not just have all your eggs in one basket. I at least knew with my wholesale that I would have that sort of consistent weekly income, and then anything extra I made on the weekends was exactly that, it was extra, and then lessons extra on top of that. So I would probably say it was, for doing this, I mean, it's been a good, I guess at the end of this year it'll be 5 years that I've gone full time with it. It was pretty scary, but I was confident in myself, and I'd taken the time to really build up my business and not just like randomly decide that I wanted to start doing cakes and the next week I like quit my business and like hope for the best. I had a really good support network around me at home. My family is awesome. Both of my parents are self-employed, so I knew I had them there for support. I've got a really good mentor still back in Australia that I bug when I can. He actually sends me my coffee beans, so I still get my Australian coffee. So yeah, so it's something that I think people these days think that they need to rush, but they don't. And to be completely honest, the journey and the process of it all is the fun part. There's no real end to it, and I don't ever consider myself to be like, oh, okay, I'm at my peak now, like I'm not going to learn anything new or anything like that, because there's just the trends that are coming out now, like trying to keep up with that is hard enough as it is. So everyone's always going to be forever learning, so as long as you keep open to that, you'll do okay. Alrighty, next question. What is the thing I'm missing most from Brisbane since I decided to stay in the US? That's a very open-ended question. Imagine picking yourself out of somewhere that you've lived for a really long time and you're familiar with everything, and have your friends and family around you, and going and moving somewhere else and having to do all that over again. Look, I'm definitely not complaining about this awesome turn that my life has taken. I love it, and I haven't been happier, and I know from the feedback that I've had from you guys that you can see that as well. And I'm super thankful for how patient everyone has been with my transition, because I obviously haven't been posting as much or haven't been putting out as much content, but I am, now that my immigration process is over and I am a permanent resident here, I am getting back into the swing of things, and I'm really, really excited about it. I've had some awesome opportunities come up, and that's, you know, been really great since being here as well, that people have noticed that and want to work with me. So for me in Brisbane, I mean, there's a lot of things, you know, obviously just the familiarity of things, being able to duck down to my favorite sushi place or going to get my favorite coffee, and just little things you don't really think of, like and obviously more so for the ladies, but you know, having to find a new nail place or a new hair place or just little silly things like that. And then I think I'm like in the process of sorting my license out as well. So I am legally allowed to drive here because my Australian license is valid. But just kind of, you know, you just jump in the car and you go and do things, or you go and buy some things, or, you know, and just working out what's around me and what it is that I enjoy doing and figuring all that out again. I'm really, really lucky that my now husband has been really, really patient with me. It's definitely been a really tough journey and transition, but in the same token, I literally wouldn't change a thing because it's put me to where I'm supposed to be. So I'll be heading back to Australia in, I think it's about 45 days, so that's really exciting. I get to celebrate finally my marriage with all my friends and family, and I get to see my little pets again, so that's really exciting. So yeah, I mean, there's plenty of things that I miss, but I know that if I, you know, once I go back to Brisbane and I visit for a little bit, there's going to be things that I'll miss here. So unfortunately, with having this kind of lifestyle now and being married to someone that lives in another country, you're always going to miss certain things, whether you're, you know, at home or whether you're in another country or wherever you kind of deem home as, because that's one of the things that I struggle with now. I feel bad when I say Australia's home because I'm starting to make a home here with him. So shout out to anyone who has gone through anything like this, because oh boy, it is, like I said, it's quite the journey. So, but I wouldn't change a thing, and I'm really, really excited to come back and see Brisbane and my old stomping ground and eat some avocado on toast. I can't wait. Alright, so this is probably one of my favourite questions and one I might elaborate on a little bit. Thanks Jeannie, who asked this question. Do you ever feel discouraged seeing many other bakers out there when you were first starting? I've never really been the type of person to compare myself to other people, and I think that's got a lot to do with my upbringing. My parents were always super encouraging to my sister and I to come into our own and be our own people, and obviously utilize the things that we see around us with what other people are doing and be inspired by that, but not necessarily feel discouraged because someone else can do something better than I can. I grew up playing sport, as most kids do, and so I think that really helped me to learn to play to my strengths and to work on my weaknesses as well. So because not everyone is going to be good at everything. So the sooner you can accept that, the better. And that's just a little bit of honest truth for you. But I think with it all, I was so focused on what I was doing, and I was just so tuned into getting my skills up to scratch, and I guess just enjoying something completely new and exciting, and more so utilizing the other bakers that were out there doing amazing work and sharing the things that they were sharing to help me with my skills and my journey as well. So I definitely would recommend not getting discouraged. And this is why I'm really, really in tune with trying to stay connected with followers and things like that, because at the end of the day, you guys, I honestly don't care how many followers I have. It's really, really cool that I have as many as I do, and I'm really, really thankful for it. I did work very hard to get those followers in terms of making sure my content was good, and the one thing that I think a lot of people make the mistake of doing is not replying to people when they leave comments, even if it's just, it's not a question or something like that, or even if it is something negative. People are just kind of programmed to, you know, oh, someone said something negative, like don't reply or delete the comment or something like that. So I would rather delve into why someone felt the need to leave a negative comment, and kind of find out what it was that maybe I did, or what, you know, what journey they're going through in terms of their cake decorating. They might just be getting frustrated, and they felt the need to take it out on me for that day. Who knows? One really cool little saying that someone left me with, I can't even remember who it was, so I'm really sorry if you're watching this and you told me this and I'm not crediting you. But basically I was saying, if someone doesn't know you personally, don't take it personally. So for me, when my Instagram went from, you know, around about 20,000 followers to like 200,000 followers in like a period of like 5 months. It was really, really quick. I had different pages on Facebook, like Boohoo and Baking Panda, and a lot of bigger pages wanting to share my work, which was awesome. And I was like, yes, sign me up, sign me up. But the effect that that had on me in terms of not knowing how to deal with the negativity that came with it, and people just making assumptions that Karlee's Kupcakes had 28,000 people doing content creation and video editing and, you know, running everything behind the scenes when it was just me, was really deflating and really frustrating, and I felt the need to like respond back to them and be like, no, it is just me. So I think at the end of the day, if you're there, and it's all about your intent. At the end of the day, if your intentions are good with the content that you're sharing and the work that you're doing, I don't think you can ask much more of yourself than that. So please don't be discouraged. Hang in there. There's plenty of bakers out there like me that do love to tune in with their followers and help answer questions and things like that. So yeah, please don't be discouraged. This next question is one that I get asked quite a lot, and sometimes I don't know how to answer it. She's asked, do you have any tips to get more followers? So obviously the whole point of Instagram, Facebook, things like that is to reach as many people as you want to reach, share your content, and to get followers in so you can create a community. I think it comes down to, again, what your intentions are with getting more followers. If you're literally just focused on the actual number of people that you have following you versus the interaction that you're getting from those people, then you need to change your attitude really, really quickly. Like I said, I was really focused on building a community and making sure that the people that were taking time out of their day to come and enjoy my content, leave comments, ask questions, everything like that, that they felt a sense of value and that they were a part of what I was doing. And to be honest, that's what allowed me to build the following that I have now. So my dad taught me a really important lesson with business, and he always makes a point of writing down something new about someone that he meets. So obviously I'm not going to write down something new about every new follower that I have, but I make a point of remembering certain things that people tell me, or, you know, if people have children, they say their kids love watching my videos. Like, I know that I have a lot of followers, but I do still remember quite a lot of you that have been following me since the beginning. And even some newer ones that come in and respond on everything and leave comments. Like, I pay attention to you guys, and I do scroll on your pages. I do go through and try and, you know, like photos and leave comments and things like that when you do tag me. I do encourage people to tag me in their stories and things like that, and I will repost it. The one thing I'm not okay with, and I don't mean this in a negative way, but please don't ever message me and ask me to give you a shout out, because it's not going to happen. So that's not a way to get the attention of someone, and I just think it's really tacky, to be completely honest with you. If I want to share something on my page, I will, but please don't message me and ask me to do it, because chances are I'm definitely not going to do it. So just be consistent with your content. Make sure that the quality is as good as it can be. I literally just bought a new camera. Well, my husband bought it for me because it's great, but I just got a new camera so I can make sure that my content is awesome for you guys. So I do get paid by some companies to produce content, which is great, and I love doing it. I love having those affiliations with companies. So the big important thing for me was to take that money and reinvest it in the quality of production that I had. So the money that I got paid to do a number of videos recently, I took that and invested that into getting a new camera. So my new setup that I got was about $500. I'm using the Canon T7, the Rebel T7, so it's not an overly expensive camera, but it's really awesome, and I'm actually really, really loving it. So another thing I will touch on for you guys too as well with your photography tips, I know you guys have probably seen me post about it as well. My friends at Skillshare are giving people 2 months free again. They've done this for me like 4 or 5 different times, and I'm about to do it again, including in this video too. So those guys have really helped me with honing in my photography skills, and I'm actually in the middle of doing a course at the moment, so I know how to use my camera. So if you haven't checked out Skillshare before, please go and do it, especially if you are wanting to improve on editing skills, photography. I mean, they have tons and tons and tons of courses on there covering off a lot of different creative vibes, whether it be learning how to do calligraphy, there's baking classes on there, like I said, art, photography. So I think making sure that you're keeping up with the times, I guess, and making sure that you're staying educated, and you don't have to spend a ton of money to do it. And that's why I love partnering up with companies like this, because they're giving you guys 2 months free, so you can go and check it out. If you like it, if you get something out of it, great. If you don't, there's no harm done. You got it for free. So go and check those guys out as well. I'll link them in the bio too, so you can click on the link and get that 2 months free. But again, the tips with the followers, you really do need to keep your content genuine. Reply to those people that are there and do follow you. Don't just focus on getting new followers. Work with the ones you've already got. Make sure that they're there, they're going to stick around, they love your content, they feel valued, and then it's just going to organically and naturally happen from there. Alright, so my last question, can I start? Are you okay? I've got the big boss in to help me with answering it. So this one is, what is the biggest lesson cake life has taught you as a person and as a business owner? This one's a little tough. There's been plenty of lessons, obviously, but I think the main one is, I had chicken noodle soup for lunch. I think someone can smell it. I think the main one is making sure that your intent is always good. If you know your intentions are good, if people misconstrue that or make assumptions about you or take it another way, that's not on you. If you know your intentions are good, that's all you can offer to people. So you can't beat yourself up if someone, you know, takes something the wrong way or leaves something negative on your post or whatever else. There's usually something much deeper going on than them actually just being annoyed at you for something or thinking something looks crap or whatever it is. So between that and taking care of yourself as a business owner and obviously as a person is super important, whether you do this full-time or not, making sure that you set aside time for things that you want to do for yourself, like having doggy pats, hey Diesel, and going to the gym, getting your nails done, getting your hair done, just going and doing things for yourself, getting a massage, whatever it might be. You need to make sure that you look after yourself, because if you're not putting in the best version of yourself into your business, and especially being a creative, I find that if I'm like in a funk and, you know, my body just feels gross or like my nails are annoying me or whatever it is, I just find my creativity sucks as well. So making sure that you're taking care of you and you're putting your best version of you forward. Guys, I know that that sounds super cheesy and cliche, but it's completely true. So, hey Diesel, you've got to put yourself first, huh? So making sure that you do that, and then that's just going to shine through in your work though as well. So ensuring that you're looking after you, and then that way you can put the best into your business as well. So the last thing I'll touch on is I think bundling it with the self-care side of things is a lot of people think, you know, when you go into any sort of realm of creativity, I think because you enjoy your job, that that's doing something for you. And while it is, and while if you do get job satisfaction, that's super important and really, really great, because not everyone gets that, you do still need to do things outside of that and not feel guilty for it, because that's something that I still struggle with it now. Just because I enjoy making macarons or doing a cake for someone or providing a lesson or doing exactly what I'm doing right now. I love doing this for you guys, and I love being able to provide advice and answer your questions. And just because I love it and people respond well to it and it is my job, that doesn't mean that that's me doing something for myself. So go and watch it, even if you go and watch a movie, go take yourself shopping, go for a drive, go and sit by the water somewhere. Just do at least one small thing for yourself each day, and I can guarantee you will feel a whole lot better. Alright guys, that is the end of my little question segment here. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate everyone's responses to my call out when I do ask for questions. I'm going to aim to do more of these as well, because I know how helpful it was for me when I was able to watch something like this especially when you're going along, whether it's baking or just a creative journey on your own as it is. It can be very daunting and you might feel like it's very lonely, but please don't feel that way because there are plenty of others out there like you going through the exact same thing. So as I mentioned earlier, my friends at Skillshare are giving you guys 2 months free. So have a look down the bottom there will be a link. You can go and sign up if you haven't before. And then if you guys do have any questions, comments, anything about the video, please make sure to leave your comments, and obviously don't forget to like my video, and if you haven't already, please do subscribe so I know that there's plenty more out there of you actually watching these and I can keep doing them for you as well. So if this is your first time checking me out, thank you so much. I'm obviously on Facebook, Instagram, under Karlee's Cupcakes for those. I've got plenty of highlights in my stories and then as well as my content on my page too. So I love interacting with you guys and I can't wait to come back and do more. Bye!